What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have a match against Slater from Twitter, and I'm using a pretty fun team. This was actually the first match that I had with it, so we're gonna see how this goes. But at first glance at my opponent's team, it was pretty interesting that he had decided to bring the type Null. I'm assuming because it's gonna be Eviolite and it's gonna be pretty bulky, so that's kind of cool. Other than that, my main concerns are the Milotic and the Magnezone. Those things could cause some problems, but I do feel like I have a decent matchup here. So let's go ahead and just hop into the match and get this started. So I decided to lead off with Alolan Persian. This was actually my first match ever using this thing, so I kind of wanted to see how it was going to work. I've heard from a lot of people it's actually pretty useful with the parting shot and stuff. So she's actually going to lead off with the type Null, which is kind of funny because I really never expected to see a type Null. But at this point, I'm just going to go for the parting shot. I am actually Choice Scarfed here. I was initially going to go for the switcheroo, taking this thing's Eviolite away from him, but then I figured that he might have something to hit me with, so I just go for the parting shot, which is probably the safest play. It's going to lower both of his attacks, and this allows me to switch into my Black Sand, which is the shiny Palossand, and this thing is pretty damn awesome. So X-Scissor is definitely not going to do a whole lot to me. I am bold with max defense, so I know that he does have that Milotic on his side, and I didn't want to make any risky double switches here, so I actually just stayed in and went for the Earth Power just to try to get a little bit of damage, as she does bring in the Milotic and doesn't take a whole lot from the Earth Power plus the leftovers. This is not the matchup I want to be in here. Even with my Water Compaction ability, I don't want to take a special attack Scald from that thing. So I now decide to switch into my my Persian again. Bloated ass face is going to actually take this Scald, and unfortunately I do get the burn. I was really crossing my fingers there to not be burned. But honestly, it's expected when you're switching into a Scald, so that kind of is unfortunate, but it's gonna happen. So at this point, I really wanted to go for the switcheroo against this Milotic. I definitely wanted to take this thing's leftovers. I'm pretty damn hungry, and having a Choice Scarf would be really nice for me. Wouldn't have to worry about recovers and stuff. But here's where stuff gets interesting. I do go for the switcheroo, as he actually switches into the Machamp. So I was like, okay, I'll get like a Life Orb or something. And I actually get a Choice Specs, which was like, what the hell? I for sure was not expecting that, so that tells me that this is a special attacking Machamp, which is just pretty damn goofy, and he told me that he was bummed when I stole his specs because he wanted to catch me off guard. But I'm now going to switch back into the Palossand, as he actually just goes for the Focus Blast, which is pretty much what you can expect from a special attacking Machamp. So that's obviously not going to affect me because I'm a haunted ass sandcastle. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and predict the switch into the Milotic, and I actually double switch myself, and I go into my Alolan Raichu, which actually does end up happening, which is perfect because this Milotic does not want to be fucking fried by a surfing Raichu. So he's now going to switch out, and I'm actually going to predict that I just go for the Volt Switch here, as he brings in the type Null again, which is definitely going to be able to eat this thing up. He told me after the match that it was max HP, max attack, so even with the Life Orb, Volt Switch is really not going to do a whole lot to that thing. So now I've got to figure out a plan for this thing. I really don't know what kind of moves this dude's going to be rocking, so I actually just decided to switch into my Grandpa Dragon, as she actually busts out the Dragon Claw, and that's going to do a lot of damage to me there. It is going to activate my Berserk ability, which is going to give me a special attack raise, and I go for the Dragon Pulse here just to kind of scout out damage. I wasn't expecting it to kill, but that really just did not do as much as I was hoping there. So I get my leftovers, and it's looking like I could take another one potentially, although I don't really feel like losing Drampa this early, so I decide to switch out into Raichu. I know that I can take at least one of these Dragon Claws as long as he goes for it, and he does go for the Dragon Claw. It's going to do a decent amount of damage to me, but the good part is I can just stay in here and potentially finish this thing off with a Focus Blast, although he's actually just going to switch and go directly into the Machamp. I really wish I would have went for Psychic there. That would have been pretty nice, but unfortunately the Focus Blast isn't going to be enough for a 2-hit KO, plus I'm remembering that this thing now has a Choice Scarf for my Persian, so I don't want to lose Raichu this early on, considering he does still have that Milotic on his team. It's kind of my best answer for that, so I do want to keep it around, and it's looking like I have at least 2 more Life Orbs left in, or Life Orb recoils left in me. So I go into Drampa here because I was pretty sure he wasn't going to go for the fighting move, considering I do still have the Palossand around. The knockoff was supposed to catch that thing, but Drampa's like, you know, that's totally fine. I get the Berserk, and actually here I'm able to go for a Glare, as he's going to switch into the Trevenant, and this thing actually gives me much more trouble than I was expecting, but at least I get the paralysis off on that thing. And at this point, my only attacking move I really have is Dragon Pulse, so I decided to stay in here, take advantage of my special attack boost, plus it's not looking like Drampa's going to be all that useful for the rest of this match, so he is going to end up going for the Leech Seed, which is quite annoying, and he's going to go ahead and steal my health, which is just like, come on, man. Respect your elders. Like, am I right? So I'm actually just going to end up staying in here. I do want to get a free switch into this thing with the Revenge Switch, so I just decided to go for another Dragon Pulse, as he's actually going to have the Citrus Berry. As is to be expected with Trevenant, these things with the harvest ability can be quite annoying, and he's actually just going to end up going for a substitute, which was a nice play, and I was like, well, hot damn, I might have some trouble with this haunted tree. So he's going to get some more leech seed. Unfortunately, it actually doesn't end up killing me. I would have liked to have a free switch into this thing. I guess it doesn't really matter all that much, but now he's going to go ahead and harvest his berries over here, harvesting up a damn storm, and that puts him above half, and he's behind the substitute. So I was like, well, this is no bueno. I was like, at least I'll be able to knock the sub out before I die, but not the case, seeing as he does actually have Protect, which I was just like, come on. So the Protect is going to make it so I can't actually knock out the sub, and then the Leech Seed is going to end up killing me. So this is not very bueno for me. I'm going to need to figure out something for this thing. So he's over there eating his leftovers behind the damn beanbag, and the harvest is going to bring another citrus berry in. So at this point, I'm just going to bring in Slytherin. So here, I have Substitute of my own, and I was hoping that I could catch him going for the Leech Seed. So I go for the Substitute, as he actually does end up getting the Parahax here. He probably was going to go for the Leech Seed, but not too big of a deal. But at this point, I was sitting here really wishing that I brought my Salazzle that has Nasty Plot. This one actually has Toxic in place of that. So unfortunately, I can't start setting up, but that would have been really clutch here. But I'm just going to go for the Sludge Wave, trying to just knock out the sub on the Trevenant. But he actually ends up switching out into the Milotic. It is going to not be a 2-hit KO here, which kind of sucks, especially after the leftovers. But at least the good news is I do have a free attack being behind the Substitute. So this is going to allow me to just go for a Toxic. The Milotic is really a problem to my team, but I figure if I got the Toxic on it, it'll at least make it limit this thing's ability to stay in for long periods of time, which is nice. Honestly, I don't really give a shit about the Marvel scale. I just really want this thing whittled down. So she's now just going to go for a Scald to break my Substitute, and at this point, I am trying to weigh my options on what I should do. I really want a free switch into this Milotic, and looking at my team, the one thing that sticks out is really just the Burnt Persian. I was like, this thing's probably not going to really be able to be all that helpful. I do have Taunt and stuff, but I decided to switch into this thing because I figured I might actually even be able to live the Scald and then be able to get an attack off, depending on what kind of Milotic this is. But he goes for the Scald. I actually do live it with 4 HP, although unfortunately with the burn, it is going to end up killing me. So that Scald burn really kind of messed me up. But this Milotic is still over here getting that poison damage, which is kind of nice, and he's at about half. So Persian is going to go down. I did kind of have to sack that thing, but at least the good news about that is I do have a free switch into this damn Milotic now. So I decided to bring out my Sharpedo here. I figured I was going to be able to eventually take this thing out due to the poison damage just kind of racking up here, as I'm actually just going to stay a regular Sharpedo first turn. I go for the Protect just to activate the speed boost, although she predicts that and just goes for a Recover. So at this point, even after the poison damage, the Milotic is looking pretty damn healthy, although the good news is I don't think this thing really has a whole lot to hit me with other than going for Scald and hoping for the burn. So at this point, I'm going to actually just go ahead and Mega Evolve, get all nice and beastly here, as my best option is just going for the Crunch. I know it's not going to be able to knock this thing out, especially at this health, but at least I know that this thing won't be able to one-hit KO me in return, as she actually ends up going for the Haze, which I guess is probably a pretty damn good move to carry on Milotic. Those things are kind of prone to being set up on quite a bit. So the Haze gets rid of my speed boost, and here I really regret not clicking Psychic Fangs, because the switch into the Machamp was quite obvious, but I just went for the Crunch instead, as she is actually going to switch into the Smiley Face, which is the Machamp, and unfortunately, Crunch is not very effective, and it's not going to be able to take this thing out, although it gets pretty damn close, but I really wish I clicked Psychic Fangs there. I kind of ended up beating myself up about it because Psychic Fangs would have killed the Milotic anyway, and the Machamp freaking lived. So at least here I can predict the fighting move that is going to allow me to freely bring in Palossand, as she is obviously Choice Scarf, and I do the same exact shit here. Check this out. I should have clicked Shadow Ball. It would have probably killed the Machamp anyway, but I go for Earth Power for some reason. I don't actually even remember why, but the Trevenant comes in, and that thing would not have enjoyed a Shadow Ball, although it eats up the Earth Power, plus it gets the Citrus Berry. So there was like a couple turns in a row there where I was kind of like, what the fuck am I even doing? I got to slow down and really just think about this more, but that's quite unfortunate. Although this thing is paralyzed, so I'm feeling pretty decent about hard switching into Slytherin here. I don't think it really has a whole lot other than like Shadow Claw, as I actually am able to avoid a Leech Seed, which probably really didn't matter a whole lot, but that is going to allow me to go for a Fire Blast, which actually does hit, and that's going to take out the Trevenant. So it's definitely good to see that thing gone, for sure, but I'm going to get it hurt by a little bit of Life Orb here, as now she's going to go back into the Type Null, and I was like, you know what, Slytherin, we're on a roll here. Let's stay in and go for another Fire Blast. Risky maneuver, as it is actually going to end up hitting. And I was like, hell yeah, that's 2 Fire Blasts in a row. Things are looking up, and that's going to kill the Type Null. So that's 2 in a row. And now she's going to go back into the Machamp. I was like, you know what, I think even with this thing being Choice Scarf, I should be able to outspeed. So I actually just do go for the Sledge Wave. Don't want to miss a Fire Blast, and I do outspeed, and that's going to take care of the Machamp. I wasn't expecting this thing to be fully invested in speed, so I made the risky play and just stayed in there, and it worked out for me. So that's pretty badass. Slytherin is going on a little bit of a rampage here, as now the Mimikyu is going to come in, and my worst fear is the thing going for the Swords Dance as I switch and then still having the decoy. So I have to actually just decide to sack off Slytherin here as I go for the Sledge Wave. But at least it's good to see that thing's disguise go away. So that's pretty cool. Break that thing's neck real quick like it's nobody's business. And a Shadow Claw is going to take care of Slytherin. But hey, at least I went on a little mini rampage there. So that's cool. But at this point, I was going on the summary menu. I was looking at Sharpedo's speed stat, and I actually ended up hitting switch in. And I was like, well, that really kind of fucked me up there because it was really a bad play. Mimikyu is randomly super fast. It is able to outspeed Sharpedo, and that is going to kill me with 1 play rough, which definitely sucks. But honestly, looking at it in hindsight, I don't think having Sharpedo around really would have helped me much. But I'm now able to bring in my Palossand, as I know I can take the Shadow Claws from this thing quite nice. It is going to activate my weakness policy in the process. It does less than half to me, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I get the nice little special attack bump, and that is going to allow me to finish this thing off with a Shadow Ball. So down goes the fake off-brand Pikachu, and at this point all she has left is the Magnezone and the Milotic. So she goes into the Milotic here, and I was actually feeling pretty confident that I'm going to be able to live an attack from this thing. So she goes for the Ice Beam. Palossand beasts through that, and I'm able to live it with like 24 HP, which allows me to then fire off an Earth Power in return, and that's going to kill the Milotic. So it's coming right down to it. I still have Raichu left along with Palossand, and all she has left is the Magnezone. So I know that I'm obviously going to die here. It's going to be faster than me. But I do still have Raichu in the back of my team who is rocking the Focus Blast. So down goes the Black Sand, which is sad to see, but yeah. So now I bring in Shredshoe. And here's where it's really just the moment of truth. The only thing I can do is go for Focus Blast and really just hope it doesn't miss. So I go for Focus Blast, but of course it misses. That thing didn't earn its name Focus Miss for no reason, and that's going to allow her to finish me off with a Flash Cannon. So really just missing that Focus Blast at the end there kind of messed me up. I for sure had a lot of misplays in this match, no doubt. But I think that was just a really interesting match, honestly. I love when they come down to 1 play. I was definitely a Salt Factory right as I saw that missed. But honestly, I really don't care as long as they're good matches. That's really all you can hope for. But I'm just doing this for the fun anyway. So hit that like button if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe for more Wi-Fi battle videos. Peace out.